On this episode of Unhitched, we're talking RV resorts. What's new, what's updated, and what's opening soon.
So welcome back to a second episode of Unhitched with the Concrete Camper.
And the Concrete Glamper.
So in this episode, we know that we've got a holiday coming up, and it is Memorial Day.
People are hitting the road and making those reservations if you haven't already made those reservations, and really are starting to get out and enjoy their RVs. And so we thought it was a perfect time to share with you a few updates on a couple of RV resorts. You have heard us speak glowingly about one of our favorite true RV resorts in the world is Talona Ridge. And so they are actually coming up on their 1 year mark, and 1 year from the standpoint of fully open, all sites and all amenities. And so they recently, if you're part of their Insiders Club where you get their emails, they just recently announced that they have plans on expanding. And one of those plans is very exciting. They are in the works of installing a second pool.
That's huge.
Yes.
That is huge. I mean, you got 3 levels. So having another pool would be fabulous.
Absolutely. And we had the opportunity actually the last time that we were there, and we actually do plan to share that with you in a video format of that adventure of talking with one of the owners who's just always...
Will, right? Was it Will?
I'm so terrible at names.
I think it was Will.
I'm not sure if it was Will, though.
I think it was.
Is it Russ?
No. There's, 3 sons?
There's 3 sons and a dad. It's one of the sons. Anyway.
I'm going with Will.
Okay.
It was Will.
We're good for the sake of conversation. Hi, Will. Always so very gracious. They exude hospitality. They take the time to talk to every single guest. They're so very inviting, and we had the opportunity to sit down and talk with him, and we'll share that again in the upcoming video of just what their expansion plans are. And one of them is an acknowledgement of as pretty of a view and as gorgeous as the pool is on the very top level of their resort. They acknowledged that they needed a second level pool, and one that would have a few more amenities in terms of opportunities, I think, for more of a clubhouse, or more traditional clubhouse, where they can have some parties and events or just festivities outside of some of their larger scale festivities. And then they also just acknowledged that they needed something for kids to do there. And so they just completed on their 3rd level an area that kids can go. It's kind of like a wilderness area. And so that was also exciting to see. And then further down the line, they were explaining to us that across the street, future plans are grand. Yeah. I mean, he had some grandiose plans. He shared with us some of the architectural design. So this isn't just talk. They actually have some concrete plans in place from across where the resort is located, in terms of providing more options in terms of the type of camping that folks can do. One of the things he said, they were in consideration of some cabins, and so they were soliciting feedback. They also acknowledged that while resort and glamping is, their priority, there is an acknowledgement that some folks, when coming to that area, may want a slightly more rustic experience. And so they were actively working through plans to provide that. And so again, I just can't say enough that if you have not visited Talona Ridge, it is a whole full-throated, we're not endorsed, but it is a full-throated, it is a phenomenal RV resort up in LJ, Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, they define what a resort really is about. The fact that you have access to the owners that are there on site. You have access to voice your opinions about things, and they're looking for feedback from the actual visitors, the RVers there. they take that feedback and make improvements on it. So
absolutely.
You have a voice with them, and it's not about, because we have a YouTube channel, they don't know anything really about us. The fact that one of the owners took the time to sit down and spend about an hour with us, just talking,
chatting, and getting our feedback, our opinions on things that they're thinking about doing.
Right, and just wanting that direct feedback, because they're always striving to do better and make it better for the community as well as for RVers in general. They are looking to be the best and set kind of the standard for when it comes to being an RV resort. They take that very seriously, and I was very impressed with just the effort, the time, the planning, and everything that they want to do, and especially in LJ.
Yes, LJ itself is growing, and whether it's going through just the mountains for hiking, there's some falls there that are very popular, and for those of you who like to indulge in adult beverages that originate from grapes in terms of wine, there's an extensive amount of wineries, old and new, that are there, that even if you just don't go for the wine, if you want to just get out and have some place to go, whether it's to eat lunch and just have some phenomenal views.
Right. The views are fantastic.
Fantastic.
And it's one of those things like, wow, this is in Georgia. Didn't even know it's in the mountains. A lot of these wineries have carved out communities and just done some very special things up there. So,
highly recommend it.
Yeah, big shout out to Talona Ridge, big supporters.
And then in terms of what's about to open, we have our eyes glaring at all things that come out of an announcement of a new resort north of Atlanta in Cartersville, Georgia. It is called Winding Waters RV Resort. And so we have had our eyes on this for a while, and they're starting to share a little bit more in terms of updates. They acknowledge that because of supply chain constraints and weather, that they are a little bit delayed in opening, but recently they did put out a new update sharing their construction progress in terms of the clubhouse, one of their pools that is about under construction. They're also going to have a water slide. As they say, they fancy themselves as providing first class amenities. There will be about 252 full hookup RV sites at the location.
Okay.
And then they also plan on providing glamping tents, and they do anticipate having some cabins. Wow. And so it's one that we are patiently awaiting. And it's one that if you also want to stay updated on, I would encourage you to do what we have done. If you go to their website, Winding Waters RV Resort or RVs, I'm not 100%.
You can Google it. Yeah, you can Google it.
But yeah, and we'll put the link in this video as well. You can sign up for their announcements. And so they are promoting that if you sign up for their newsletter that they're starting to distribute, that you will be one of the first to find out when they open, and also will be one of the first to find out when they begin to accept reservations. So that's one to stay tuned to. When we know more and learn more, we'll definitely make sure that we share that with you. But it's planned to open in Cartersville, Georgia. So for those of you familiar generally with Metro Atlanta, it's one of the northern bedroom communities off of 75 North. So between the north end of Atlanta and Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so that in that corridor, there are actually no resort options. There are a few RV parks or campsites in that area, but when you talk about new resorts, there aren't any in that 75 North corridor north of Atlanta. So we're very, very excited about that one to come.
Yeah, so they've also started being active on social media, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think we follow them on Instagram. So they've started posting a little bit more, not a lot, but more frequently in terms of like 2 posts, but at least they're acknowledging you when when you comment, and they are starting to, it seems, just all around becoming more active. Which was once called Reunion Lake is now known as Sun Resorts New Orleans North Shore. And that is located in Louisiana. It's somewhere that we have visited previously and recently have returned. And so wanted to share kind of how did we feel on our second time around.
Yeah. So let's preface this. So we did have the opportunity to visit when it was Reunion Lake.
Yes.
We had went down to Louisiana. I think we had quite the experience we've shared in a previous video.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, we lost our propane tanks. And it was a struggle. But once we did at least arrive at previously known Reunion Lake, it was pretty nice, to be honest. There was a lot of family activities. It was very clean, and it was just a lot of buzz in the air. It was like truly sticking to its name, like a family reunion. Everybody's getting together, hanging around the lake, and it felt like lake life was alive.
That was a good assessment of that. But I would say on the return trip, second time around, again, we're going to preference it that we were going to visit family. It was not the destination. It was just the best location of the options.
Right.
But having previously visited there, we did have a level of expectation. And then for me personally, because they had been taken over by a corporation that has resorts across the country, I had higher expectations of what the experience would be like.
Right. I mean, you would think, okay, so this was this privately owned RV resort, and now you've got a corporation coming in. So my thought was an influx of money would really be put into the resort, and some serious upgrades, makeovers, changes. They're investing their time and their money, the employees.
But that just really wasn't the case. I would say from the moment we stepped out of the car and walked into the office, I think the tone was set. That was very off-putting. Although there were some very nice folks there, kind of the highlights is they were more concerned with certain rules, things that you were accustomed to in terms of renting a golf cart. The level of expectation of the golf cart is clean, not full of cobwebs and dirt and mud, and that you wouldn't have to just be given keys and go search for your golf cart amongst a crowd of other golf carts. So in terms of amenities, in terms of hospitality and just overall feel, it just was lacking. And there was just a disconnect there where previously you felt like there was some ownership by the employees and like they were really welcoming you.
Yeah, and because of the size and just wanted to be able to get around of the resort, we got a golf cart. The golf cart, let's just say it was not in the best condition. It was definitely aged. It was not clean.
And you could probably walk faster than you pushing the accelerator.
Yeah, I mean, I get that they have a max of 5 miles per hour through there, but literally you're going to cap the golf cart.
I could speed walk faster than that golf cart was going.
They cap the golf cart at 5 miles per hour. I get it. Safety first. Got it. Respect that. But, it was just in such poor condition, and it just wasn't worth the hassle to go take it back. We were there really for a family event. We didn't spend that great amount of time around the resort, so to speak, like going to the lazy river and the pools and all that and enjoying the lake. We were there for, family. It was a family event.
But I would just say, kind of not to, go down into a tangent. Overall, I would say high points. We had live music a couple nights. It was also Mother's Day weekend, so they had some, some special touches there for the mothers. And so that all was really nice.
Yep.
And so, as we tend to do on these podcasts, any tips that you have this week as the Memorial Day comes closer?
Yeah, actually, I actually just kind of took my own advice. Maintenance time, as we begin to, embark out on adventures and going out on journeys. Maintenance time has kicked in, especially. So one of the things that I did do was some maintenance. I really looked at a couple products. Really, one in particular that I used this past trip. It was a 3-in-1, utilizing more or less it's more or less maintenance for your rubber seals, for your slides, and then for your windows. And I'll say it was an easy application. I'll probably include some video on that in our up and coming video, but easy to apply. 3-in-1. It's the RV Care rubber seal conditioner was one of the products I used. The other was the RV Care slide out silicone lube. And then the final version was the window track and dry lube. So just one of those things that, again, you got to remember you've invested quite a bit into your unit here. And it's simple things that you can do on your own are always a positive to elong the life rate of your RV. And it's a simple, squirt, dry, clean. So some of the things that you just have to do is part of my maintenance routine. So depending on how much we do travel, I'll probably at least do that like 3 times a year. Lube the slides. Any other rubber conditioning to keep it from cracking. It does have UV resistance, so we travel a lot, again, in the southeastern area. Spend a good amount of time in Florida. The heat, the sun, it beats up on your rig, so that helps. And then finally, just with the windows going, up and down, just want to keep those in working condition. So I think that's my little tip of the week, is continue to maintain your rig with the easy things that you can do for yourself.
Well, that's fantastic. And so, our concrete glamper and camper friends, I think that's it for this latest episode. Again, for those of you who are new to our channel, we say welcome and continue to encourage you to like and subscribe to our podcast in addition to the channel. And for those of you who are returning, we say thank you. We continue to appreciate your support. As always, we encourage you to comment if you have any questions, if you need any advice. I don't know how qualified we are for it, but we're always happy to share insights with you based off of our journeys. And as always, we'll continue to chase the sun, sand, and sea
in our RV. We'll see you on the next one.